So the first thing is, one thing is people understanding that most of their problems in life are self-induced. So the amount of money that you're spending on rent is because you chose to spend it. The amount of money that you're spending on food or eating out or bad habits, that money that you spend was your choice. So first of all is get rid of...
This is self-sabotage you're talking about here, yeah.
Get rid of...
I'm spelling that right.
Leaks in the boat.
Yeah, write this down. What people need to check on themselves, like the list for the people to understand, folks listening to understand what they need to do to make sure they don't fall into these traps.
We'll call it small L's. The small losses that you discredit every single day. The waking up late, the eating that extra bag of chips, that spending that money on that t-shirt that's $50 that you don't fucking need because you already have 9 shirts. And you don't need 12.
Well, you've been tricked into buying that stuff most of the time.
So it's the small L's. It's the death by 1,000 paper cuts. Right? It's the small jabs that you think are irreversible mistakes, but they're not because they compound, like credit card debt. So small L's, you need to be able to take over your small L's. Most people think about the big stuff, but life is what? A cumulative of small decisions.
You're making me quite emotional about this because I see this in people every single day that I ask what their dream is. They're not doing their dreams because they've had too many of these. They've got themselves into debt, car debt, mortgage, all these things. They can't do what they love because they've done this to themselves 100 times. They're stuck.
So now what's next? This is a big one. Because we're talking mindset now, because we're talking self-sabotage. Grace is how you interact with yourself. Because if you take small L's, you're going to have an attribute, and we'll tie it back to where we were talking about failure, an attribute that you're a loser. But taking small L's doesn't mean you're a loser if you treat yourself with grace, knowing that this is the first time you've played the game. So if you understand it's the first time you play the game, then you're going to treat yourself differently. Why is it that people don't treat themselves with grace? Is because when failure enters a situation, and this is what you get graded on, you get humiliated. You get put in the back of the class. They make you repeat and go with younger kids, making you feel stupid. They ostracize you. They make your parents upset. So anytime failure is a possibility in your realm of getting rid of small L's, you don't want to try. Why? Because failure's bad. But failure isn't bad. Failure just is. And you're going to fail more than you succeed in the moment you accept that you want to fail more.
I love failing. I look for it. I look for ways I can fail so I can learn.
And by failing, you become what?
The best.
You become the best.
How can we help people learn? Because we hear it, failure's good, and I think people hear that line and they go, why would it be good? How can we help people fail? I mean, is there a mechanism for testing out?
Yes. So it's very simple. It's understanding the pain that comes with perfection and the pain that comes with progress. If I want to go to the gym, I'm going to feel weak before I get strong. If I go to business class, I'm going to feel stupid before I'm smart. If I go hang out with wealthy people, I'll feel broke before I'm rich. And the negative comes with the positive. You have to go through it. And once you understand that that's just part of the process, then you accept it.
Totally right.
So it's like, you need to feel like a loser in order to be a winner.
Maybe the word failure, just people need to reframe it as the word fight.
Yeah. It's,
like fight, have pain, like it's I don't know why more, like we all know the stats, right? 80% of A students work for D students.
Yeah.
So that should tell you straight off that if anyone's listening, you should tell them straight away, like if you learn to accept failure, you also build up resistance to failure.
Resilience.
And it doesn't matter if someone tells you you're a failure. If you know you're going again, this time you fail, but you're going again, so it doesn't matter, you're learning, right? And what
I've found valuable is understanding how do you avoid the small L's. Like, okay, I commit, Luke, I fuck up, Luke, I mess up. How do I stop? So how are you in a situation where you can guarantee your ability to reduce your small L's? The small losses, the small failures, per se, that are holding you back.
I've never been happier to be a person's whiteboard wiper. Go ahead.
One is make it so easy to win that it becomes difficult to lose. If you're struggling with your diet, why the fuck would you have cake in your house? you're setting yourself up for loss. If you have debt, why do you have a credit card? Make it so easy to win that it becomes impossible to lose. Just make it easy for yourself. Position yourself. If you have cigarette addiction, why do you have a pack of cigarettes in your car?
Don't hang out with people that smoke.
It makes no sense. You need to position yourself. Make it easy. Positioning. Positioning is key. The reason we are where we are today is because we understand how to position ourselves. Make it so easy to win that it becomes impossible to lose. That's what you do with your small L's, because you don't want to be thinking about it. 2, commitment. Something that most people have forgotten about. Most people have no ability to commit to themselves, let alone commit to others. What do you have to commit to? One thing. A goal. Most people don't have a goal.
But that's why I ask people what their dream is, because that gives them at least a chance. Most people don't know it.
They haven't even thought about it.
No, so that, as soon as they think, oh, I'd like to do this, then you have a goal. How are you going to get there?
And I can tell people how to get there, and we'll discuss it, because there's some very basic instruments to achieve anything in life, but you need to know where you want to go. And then you have to commit to that. If you don't commit to a goal, you're going to be like a ship without a rudder, just spinning in circles, directionless. Most people feel purposeless because they don't have a goal. And once they've told themselves, I have a goal, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start this business, or, you know what? I'm going to do this thing that I said I was going to do. They have no ability to commit. And what happens when you stop committing to something? You become a liar. And most people lie to themselves. So what happens if I lie to you every single day? Are you going to trust me?
Definitely not.
Are you going to be confident in me?
Definitely not.
So why would you be confident in yourself if you're always lying to yourself? Of course you're not going to trust your ability to accomplish your goal, because you know that you're going to lie.
Yeah. It's the number one thing I look for. I've got a team of 14 people that help me do this, and I basically, if anyone ever lied to me, I will never work with them again.
You can't.
I just can't trust someone who lies, and I don't. But people lie to themselves. That's the real problem.
And you need to be able to identify yourself not as a person that's living inside, but you need to position yourself like a stoic and look at yourself from the outside and ask yourself, hey, I've committed to something. I'm just going to follow my goal. You can't look at yourself as a first person individual. You have to look at yourself like you're playing a video game of you. And if you're playing a video game of you, why would you self-sabotage? So first of all, make it easy to win. So we're not thinking about these mind games.
There's a part of me, by the way, this word easy, there's a part of me wants to call it hard. Make it hard for yourself, actually. Like, make so all the things you think you want, these little cuts, these little problems, make it hard to get them all.
Yes.
That's so easy. So my brain seems to think that makes people have got to understand that actually you got to have a good life, you've got to have at the beginning a hard life.
Yes.
Like, I think a lot of people I know that are successful, they're successful because they had no choice but to be successful, because they had a hard life. You kind of need to do that to yourself, right? Not have comfort, not give that comfort to yourself too easily. Otherwise, what is the goal? If you've got it all comfortable already, then you're not going to go and train and push yourself and make things happen.
Yes, I agree.
And the liar thing, by the way, is also really interesting, because I mentioned there people lying to me, but the other thing is people have to be really careful that they don't, it's a bit self-sabotage again, but they don't lie in a way that causes them to change their own belief system. So if you tell yourself, well, I have this, a lot of people say, I'm not very good at business. And they keep saying it to themselves, their subconscious starts to believe it. They're lying to their subconscious. Their subconscious now believes it's true, and they think they can't do it. Like, everybody listening, you can start a business. Everybody. So if you think you can't, you're lying to yourself. It's just what type of business you're going to do, what your skill is applied to that business. You're an introvert, you're doing an introverted style business perhaps, as opposed to an extrovert, right?
Yes.
But people have literally told themselves a lie so many times their subconscious believes it.
Yes, I agree. So how do you break that subconscious programming?
It's very deep.
So let's erase this, and we'll talk about how to break subconscious programming, and we'll tap into a little bit of what is more on the science side of things. Natural law is something that everybody has to abide by, like the law of gravity. Whether you believe in it or not, it exists. And if you don't believe in it, it doesn't matter. Just jump off of a building and you'll realize that it's real. There's other natural laws, like the law of cause and effect. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, the second law of thermodynamics. So we understand that for everything we input, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction to that input. So what people focus on is they focus on the output instead of the input. So you can't control when you're going to become a millionaire. That's the output. People are focused on the output. They're focused on the reaction. They can't control the reaction. All they can focus on is the action. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So what are the actions that you have to input in order to make $1 million? Do you know them? Well, no, I don't know them. Okay, well, how many millionaires do you know? And how many millionaires have you gone into and asked them, what is the input for them to make $1 million? Don't ask just Simon, just look, go get 50. And I promise you, there's plenty of people on the internet to send them a DM and be like, hey, what's the one habit that, and then you put together your list and your formula.
They're very common habits. I've interviewed hundreds of millionaires and quite a lot of billionaires, and the habits are quite common.
Yes.
And you just mentioned some of them.
And if you identify them,
you know, be honest about your situation. I was just, again, like that lying thing really in particular, I really want people not to forget it, because it's like, you can lie sometimes to people about your financial situation and say you're not in debt. You're better at telling people you are.
Yes.
You know, don't hide things. That's about being transparent. But people don't. Most successful people actually, at their core, are very authentic about what's going on in their lives.
And we're going to talk about authenticity because it's super key to this. I'm glad that you mentioned that word. So what are the inputs to become a millionaire, right? List them all out. If you guys haven't watched all of Simon's content with all millionaires, go watch it and you can probably piece them together.